Good morning. This is Gary Pinkerton. I'm the author of a couple of books about Texas history. Tramel's Trace is about the first road to Texas in the early 1800s, and a new book called True Believers is about a treasure legend on a Hendricks Lake, which uh, Tramel's Trace passed by in Rusk County, where there was a treasure legend of silver. But today I want to talk about Tramel's Trace and a research discovery that I made just this week. So, the Robert Bruce Blake collection is um, 75 or 80 volumes, 400 pages or so each, of information that was collected by a county clerk in Nacogdoches County over about 30 years. The Nacogdoches archives are an incredible resource. Much of it was in Spanish. The collection was scattered, and what he did was bring all this together. And for the period of history and the people and the geographic area that is my research interest, the Blake collection has been pivotal. And the last time I was really there working on it heavily was, over 10 years ago. I collected tons of information about Nicholas Trammell and the Nacogdoches region and other people related to that. But that's what the Blake collection is about. And if you're following people from Nacogdoches, particularly pre-Republic, there's a lot of information in the Blake collection that uh, is pertinent. So when you go to the East Texas Research Center, which is second floor of the library at Stephen F. Austin, the Blake collection is there in bound volumes, and it looks like this. That was what it looked like after I started plucking volumes off the shelf for the research subject of the day, which was Williams settlement and Leonard Williams in particular. So the green volumes are supplements, the red volumes are there. And because of the way the collection is organized, there's a wonderful index. You go to the index cards and flip through like we all learned how to do in school. Find your references. I took pictures of the cards and then used my view of the pictures to start pulling volumes off the shelf, bringing them to a library table in the library in Nacogdoches, and thumbing through pages. And when I got to a page, I would take a picture of it, and then when I got home, would compile and assemble and put those images together in PDFs, noting the contents and moving on from there. And that's what I had done, 15 years ago, 10 years ago, and that's what I started doing this week. So, in the midst of that pain and agony, I happened to ask the archivist if there was a better way, if he knew of any source that had these scanned in searchable PDF files. And he said, yeah, I think maybe that's true. So he brought me a long scripted URL that went through the Clayton Library in Houston, but essentially landed at the um, familysearch.org, which is the online search tool for the Church of Latter-day Saints. And um, some of you may know a lot more about that than I do, but it's an incredible resource and different than Ancestry in that it makes the actual documents more accessible, I think, um, than does Ancestry.com or things like that. So I called up this summary of the Blake collection using a Google search. If you go to that link, you'll dive right into the books section of Family Search and can find the Blake collection that way. But I want to back off and show you a simpler way that would start from scratch for those of you who don't necessarily have an account with Family Search already. So If you go to familysearch.org, this is the landing screen. You can create your free account here. I'm using Google Chrome, so some of these screens may appear differently for the menus and things at the top, but will work the same way. You create your free account, and then ultimately you are able to sign in and access the home page. The easiest method I found to access these volumes is by searching the catalog. I use the full name of the search, Robert Bruce Blake. Oh, that's place. I'm sorry. Titles. Robert Bruce Blake Research Collection is the full name. I search for any. You can narrow it down to just online. But what's so exciting about this is that entire shelf of red and green volumes at the Nacogdoches Library is available in downloadable, fully searchable PDFs. So there's the Blake Research Collection and the supplements. And this is the easiest screen to get to find them if you want to do what I'm suggesting, which is download and search them. Now, I could use my index cards to download and search only the ones that I found using that method. But what I've actually done, and if you're serious about this kind of research, I'm suggesting you consider, is to download these PDFs to your computer and to then be able to word search what's there. So I'm going to go through this volume because I know it has something I can show you, to volume 63. The only way I know that is because of the searches I've already done in the cards, but there are family search tools that might get you closer to narrowing down the volumes. But for serious researchers, this is what I'm suggesting. This is the main display screen for the collection. Some summary, some search terms, an image of the first page. But this is where I'm suggesting you go to take this action. So we're going to view all 412 pages of volume 63 of the Blake collection. I'm not going to take a lot of time to talk about all these tools down here, but they are incredible. So experiment and explore. That's how you learn things. If you get lost, you can always go back in history and start your search over and wipe the deck clean, so to speak. But a lot of great information in here, or great tools in here to use. The one I'm going to show you is the print or download option. Now you could print this entire volume as a PDF, but downloading it is what makes the most sense. So I'm going to download volume 63. In Chrome, it starts this process of download and gets you to the spot that you want to do. They are huge files. I think this one was 30 or 40 megabytes, so you've got to make sure you have disk space available to make this work, or else you'll quickly kill your system. Here's what my download folder looks like. There's what volume 63 downloads as, and it's actually 68 megabytes right there. So a huge file. And what I do is quickly go in and change the name so I know what it is. So we're going to change this to Blake Papers 63. And open the PDF file. And there's the volume, all 412 pages of that green volume sitting on the shelf in Nacogdoches and Clayton Library and in other places. So now you get the tools of Adobe Reader or Adobe Acrobat to search the volume. I use Adobe Acrobat, which lets me do a lot in creating PDFs, but if you use Adobe Reader, you can do the same thing. The find file or find option is right there under Edit, Control F, brings up the find window. And I'm searching this time for Williams settlement. I'm typing the whole thing because I know it's there, but would find this by searching Williams as well. And Adobe is going to take you to everything that matches that text. You're searching the full text of each individual document. And so there's the first one, the next button continues on. So in this particular volume, a lot about Williams settlement and some excellent research information, even mentioning the road to Williams settlement, which was a revelation because that would have been the road north up to Trammell Strace. All found because I downloaded that file and used Adobe PDF to do that. So, being a kind of a glutton for information that I am, I've downloaded all of the Blake papers, including the supplements. I added a few names for some key things that I'm looking for. But after you download, and Windows has sometimes to index those volumes, I can search across all the PDFs that are there to find every mention of Williams settlement in the Blake papers. I say that slowly because that is a miraculous thing for me as a researcher. Saves an incredible amount of time sitting in Nacogdoches, taking pictures of index cards and pages, and still not having a searchable object. And so by doing this, it just makes a huge amount of difference in my ability to search this stuff. Let's see if I can identify. So yeah, that's 4.5 gigabytes of information. Not a lot. You could fit it on a USB, but it is something to consider based on your equipment that you're using. So an incredible resource, all made possible by downloading those PDFs. So that takes a little bit of commitment, and your high-speed internet will be more friendly to you. But the kind of things that you can do as a result of it make a big difference. There's Trammell. There's his half brother, Moat Askins. There's Martin Parmer, who killed Moat Askins, but was involved in much other Nacogdoches history. His name is also found as Palmer, so you have to search for that as well. Spelling, of course, makes a huge difference in any kind of text search that you're doing. So be creative. Also, don't forget to just browse a bit. Some of my best discoveries have been random accidents, not things I was searching for. Either didn't find it due to the way it was spelled in the papers or in the original documents from the 1800s. I searched about 6 different spellings for Trammell. But just the things that you can discover just for browsing. There were a lot of mentions of cases involving pigs in the archives and in the court cases. And Roads, of course, will be one of my next searches. So consider that if you're into that time period or want to know more about the Blake papers, just reach out to me either through tramelstrace.com or email me at gary.pinkerton at outlook.com. I would also invite you to join the Trammels Trace Facebook group and participate with almost 900 other people interested in similar subjects. But the Blake papers are a great resource for East Texas researchers, and hope this helps you out as much as it has helped me. Thanks.